seen John. I haven't seen Bill or Rob gone, so. Got four.
Tom? No, I know. Okay. If we heard from John, because John always calls.
I have not heard from John.
I'm gonna wait
And
30 seconds. You're right, I'll get the meeting started. Because we have a large group. Good evening, Melissa. It was nice seeing you today.
Recording in progress.
Hello.
How you doing, Melissa? All right.
All good.
Welcome, everyone. It's now 6:31 p.m. I'd like to call to order the Fenton Township Board meeting on this Tuesday, the 17th day of February, 2026. I would ask everyone to please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Gopal?
Yes, sir, thank you. Dear Father, we gather here tonight to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. And as always, we thank you for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gopal 3 under the bus. Oh, Mark.
I got distracted by a big Rick. Maybe you saw it.
Thank you.
Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine,
Present.
Reed,
Here.
Clark is absent, Krug is here, Kessler's absent, probably another cruise.
Oh, indubitably.
Gopal's present, and Tucker. You have,
You're just noticing.
you have
got a
6
quorum?
members present?
All right. I'd
No.
also like to...
We got 5.
I'm sorry, 5.
Bye. I'd like to note for the record that our Township Attorney, Jack Belzer, our Operations Manager, Tom Broker, our Fire Chief, Ryan Volz, and our Assistant Manager, Megan Gito, are present this evening. Also, our Township Engineer, Melissa Lawrence from Lawrence Engineering. Megan, will you detail the procedures for those attending tonight's virtual meeting?
Yes. To the members of the public attending tonight's meeting in person or via Zoom, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded to be shown on public access television, Spectrum Channel 191. Recorded meetings are also posted on the Fenton Area Community Television YouTube channel. For those attending via Zoom, we ask that you keep your microphones muted until we reach the portions of the meeting where the public comment is allowed. For tonight's meeting, there are no public hearings, therefore all public comment will take place near the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download on Township's website, fentontownship.org.
Thanks, Megan. All right, moving on to the first business order is the approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? All right, hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
I vote yes, Clark is absent, Kessler's absent, Reed,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes,
Motion passes.
and the agenda stands approved as presented. Moving on to the meeting minutes, included in the packet are the meeting minutes from the February 3rd regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes? Hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Expenditures, are there any questions tonight from the board regarding any of the invoices? John?
I'm good.
All right. Okay, I will entertain a motion regarding the payment of expenditures totaling $580,318.55 for payment.
I will move approval of expenditures amount of $580,318.55.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Reed,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Lorraine.
Yes.
I vote yes, Clark is absent, motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, the expenditures stand approved as presented. Moving on to public hearings, as Megan said, we have none this evening. Reports, are there any committee reports to be made to the board this evening? All right, hearing none, go on to communications, we have none. Next business order is adoption of ordinances. This is the proposed moratorium on data centers. This is the second reading and vote on adoption. Included in the packet is a revised version of the proposed ordinance to establish a moratorium on data centers. We've also included the document from the University of Michigan titled What Michigan Local Government Should Know About Data Centers. Attorney Belcher has reviewed and revised that moratorium language. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I think I would say, I'm not opposed to moving forward with this. I think in the definition of it, we would want to say something along the lines, the processing capacity is for use by others. And what I'm trying to get at here is excluding IT departments for specific companies. I would think that would be a key differentiation between a data center and somebody operating a business that uses a bunch of computers. But, I don't know where the definition came from. That, to me, when I was thinking about it, seemed to be the material difference as to what makes a data center versus just an IT department of a company.
Jack?
I don't think this would affect an IT department. I mean, it's a separate facility, physical facility or building. And I got this off the internet, what they define as a data center. And if somebody's doing it in their own office,
What if it's a building outside, on its own, say Miller Industries, for example, has a separate building outside with all their computers in it?
Most of those would be local area networks, meaning that
I
it would
like what
service
you're saying. Yeah.
only that company, and it wouldn't be,
What I mean.
Either
what I'm
gathering
saying
or-
Is that a data center,
Why don't we do this?
separate building?
I
That's
think
what
it's-
they would call it.
Yeah.
I work in a 4-story building, and there's a floor that's dedicated to, servers and networking, and, it's always referred to as the data center.
well, but in that situation, they're not gonna be coming in looking for specific zoning to put in a structure. And that's what this is trying to stop that. And I tried to make it as blanket as I could.
Yeah.
Well, it's broad, and I think it's important to get the moratorium down. So
I
I
do
think
too.
as long as we just internally know that that is how we interpret this kind of thing, I really don't see, unless somebody came in and said, well, why aren't you stopping so-and-so from doing this and such? I don't see it being practical, but I'm just talking out loud when I was thinking about it. I don't know why that isn't part of the definition, because that seems to me the kernel of what makes a data center a data center is we're doing this for other people. But, like I said, I'm good with the moratorium as long as we kind of all are in agreement with what we're thinking it is.
Yeah, and that was my same sort of line of thinking at the last meeting
Yeah.
when I challenged, the use of a data center.
Well,
Because there are data centers out there.
Your discussion is what triggered my thought about that.
Yeah.
That caused me to think about what the difference was, and I think that's what the difference is. But, whatever, let's get the moratorium down, and if we need to refine it further, we can do that. I don't think it's terribly important for what we're doing tonight.
Mike did affirm that, that the planning commission is fine with the language, but again, Jack,
Yeah,
I
I'm
guess we're
fine
gonna
with
look.
Working on some parameters to set forth in this attachment that we had in our board packet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since I sit on the planning commission, don't be shocked if you see the concept come up with, within the context of what we come up with.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion regarding the adoption of the proposed ordinance to establish a 12-month moratorium on data centers as presented.
I will, support a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Clark is absent. Kessler's absent. I vote yes. Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, moving on to unfinished business. We have the Election Commission meeting March 3rd, 2026. Clerk Krug, you want to explain?
Well, it's just that we have a time frame where we have to establish our election commission and the upcoming elections. And then after that, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, about 3 weeks after that, we'll have a motion or a notice where we establish and have the people named for one. this election, because we were able to combine the precincts, we lucked out and can use one precinct for both of our own precincts, or one, so we only have to use one counter, one table with, so it'll really help. I actually don't expect a real heavy turnout, but watch now, we'll be deluged all day, but.
Well, thanks, Bob. And that meeting is March 3rd, right, at 5:45 PM, just prior to our next board meeting?
Yes.
All right. That was just, again, just to let everybody know. Moving on to new business, we have the 2026 Genesee County Road Commission Dust Control Program. We've all reviewed the memo in our packet. Megan, can you provide any additional details, or?
This cost is the same as it was the previous year, and
Everything's listed?
everything's listed in the memo and packet.
All right. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, I'll entertain a motion regarding the 2026 Genesee County Road Commission Dust Control Program. The recommended plan includes the application of 38% liquid calcium chloride at a rate of 2,000 gallons per mile as follows. One application in late April or early May with the cost divided equally between Fenton Township and the Genesee County Road Commission. One application in late June or early July with 100% of the cost paid by Fenton Township. And one application in mid-September with 100% of the cost paid by Genesee County.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved. Oops, sorry.
Do you have that backwards?
No?
No.
100%? 100% paid by the township, 100% paid by the county?
Isn't one of them optional? Didn't we do this in the past?
Yes.
Was it the second one optional, or?
Second one is the
The second
optional.
one's optional, yeah.
So, we're not locked into that 29 full cost, that we could skip that if it's dry.
If it, yep,
So.
or wet and not a real dry summer.
That's where I was at now.
Okay,
Okay, thanks.
all right. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, you got a motion and a
Oh,
second.
I'm sorry. I got a motion and a second? All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Clark is absent. I vote yes. Reed.
Yes.
Kessler is absent. Motion passes.
All right, thanks. Next under new business is financial advisor engagement letter. This is the Hidden Ridge Special Assessment District bonds. Again, we've reviewed the letter in our packet, and Megan can answer any questions that we may have. Does this board have any questions at all?
What's the rate gonna be, Megan?
That's the question.
You said you could answer any question.
Can't tell the future.
Come on, man.
Any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion regarding the Brzezinski and Company bond issuance agreement as presented.
What's for a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Kessler is absent. I vote yes. Reed.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Clark is absent. Tucker.
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, moving on to board comment. Is there anybody here on the board that has additional comments or concerns?
I think I told everybody last meeting, but I will be gone for the next 2 meetings. If you need any koala bears or wombats, let me know before I go. And I will do my best to bring them back.
All right, I do have one comment. Since we do have John going to be out, Rob is going to be out. Just want to, can everyone take a look at the next 2 meetings, look at their calendar and make sure that we're going to have a quorum. If not, we can make those changes tonight, because we are going to have, and Bill's out for the first one in March also, so we'll have 3 out, so we at least need the right side of this
Four.
table to be here for a quorum.
No pressure.
No pressure.
And
All right.
If we have that meeting, we should be nice and let Jack join our group.
There you go.
Instead of way at the end.
All right, any other board comment? All right. Next business order is board, on public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. I will now open up the meeting for public comment. Is there anyone in attendance that would like to address the board? All we need you to do is come out and state your name.
My name is Mike Martell, and I've been a resident out here 39 years. My program of study when I got my doctorate degree was in data analytics. And so I know a little bit about AI. I think there's a lot of unknown right now about AI, and I know all the focus around the country is with these large data centers. But I also do know that there are small and mid-sized data centers that are going up, and they do network with the large centers. That field is expanding like crazy. I'll give you an example how fast the AI field is going. When I wrote my doctoral dissertation, I did a four-factor 57 attribute with 150 data points with a multiple regression analysis on the teacher evaluation systems for the state of Michigan. And it took 2.2 seconds to compile all that with IBM SPSS software. Right now, nobody knows how fast Google or ChatGPT or any of those go, but the word on the street is that they can do about 1 billion attributes with, or 1 billion factors with 1 trillion attributes, and they won't even talk about time. So I think it's good that we're addressing it, but I think we have to keep a very open mind about what's really going on out there. And you mentioned that data centers are all over the place, whether it's in your laptop at your home could be potentially a data center, because there are microprocessors in laptops right now that are powerful enough that, you know, they could tie into, I mean, anybody who gets in ChatGPT right now or Genesis or any of those, you are basically working in AI and you're going through a data center. So I know in Ann Arbor right now there are 8 of them on the books. I think we ought to embrace them because I know there's advertisements all over for help for those. University of Michigan can't produce enough graduates to fill the data centers. The starting salaries for those are about $125,000 a year, and a manager of one of those facilities gets about $250,000 a year, and they can't fill the positions. So I think we ought to embrace it. It's a huge employment opportunity for our township. Personally, being here 39 years, I like to see our township excel, and I think this is one of the things that we ought to keep in our forefront and, you know, think positively of it. There are some downsides to it. Not all the data centers are going to be as big as what Miller Industries is. I think some of them you can find in 30,000 square foot buildings before all said and done, and they will be tied to each other. And another factor Tom was mentioning earlier, it may come to a point where a lot of them are wireless. So I think we need to keep an open mind about it.
Before you leave, can I invite you to participate in the planning commission meetings while we go through this?
Sure. Provided it's not on my golf night.
Or mine. Tuesday?
Mondays and Tuesdays.
Oh.
Never mind.
I'll help out, you know.
Yeah.
It's only golfing in the summer.
You got
so-
expertise, and you're wearing a Harvard hat.
Well, that's my son.
Well, I don't care. You're part of that gene pool, right?
Oh, I get it from my mother, so.
Yeah, well, sounds like you've got expertise, and we truly are trying to gather information. And, you know, there's a lot of information, people that are concerned, but I think you gotta balance that with people that see the positive attributes, and then hopefully we end up in the right place.
Yeah, I think, this is my own opinion, I think that there's a lot of negative advertising, if you want to call it that, out there, because people don't know. And, you know, the people who know are our kids and grandkids. You know, they know all about that stuff. I know I was down to my son's place down in Ann Arbor. He graduated from that boarding school with a PhD down there. And he...
That one has got a big tower and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to call it that, but we'll keep it clean. My wife graduated from there too, so.
I'm able to retract my invitation.
All the best people. All the
I
best.
kinda like the guy a lot now.
All the best people graduate from U of M.
Yeah, that's why I tell everybody, yeah. My wife and both my kids went there, but I'm the smart one because I married her, so.
I have one question.
Sure.
Did you grow up around here?
I grew up By you.
That's what I was gonna ask. You know what? I knew your family
Yep.
from, you went to Holy Rosary half day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Farmer
right.
Mac
I
and
played
Richfield.
football with, I think, your brother.
Which one? I have 6 of them.
I don't know.
Paul, Jack, Don, Tom, Carl, Chuck.
I'm 19, so just extrapolate. You're good with math.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, nice seeing you again.
You
Nice,
too.
in the Martell family. Thank you. My best to all of them. Thanks for your
Thanks.
input, and again, if
Yeah,
you
I'll-
are interested
I'm
at
really
all, it
glad.
would be,
I graduated a year after Phil Lewis did, so Phil was the first state champ from Holy Rosary.
Yeah.
People don't know that, but he was a state champ in the long jump.
Oh, good. How far did you go? 26? Yeah, okay. Well,
Pretty far.
we'll quiz him. We'll give him a quiz, and then we're gonna tape him and have him jump.
Yeah. I think they were also state champs on a relay team too, 'cause he was, I'm not sure whether he won the state or not, but he was really fast.
Wow.
Smart guy too.
Slowed down a little bit recently.
all right. I think we have someone else out here in the audience who'd like to address the board. All we need is your name.
I'm Dr. Gregory Streff. I live in 13139 Torrey Road. I was here and addressed multiple boards last year and back again, just to update you guys and see where you are and have some suggestions perhaps on this subject that I discussed, which was the 5-foot setbacks in houses on small lots. My personal experience in this is that I had my neighbor take a backhoe personally through my yard and without my permission, knowing that I didn't want to, actually destroy my drainage system and block my drainage system. Got pitchers of water gushing out 6 feet up in the air. Took out not only the irrigation system on my side of the house, unbeknownst to us, but also took out the whole irrigation system. Created mudslides. He actually moved the dirt on his own, and he's got it up higher, and he's now blaming the city, the township for that the township allowed him to have that ability to raise his lot, which I know is silly, but that's what he's doing. He's refusing to pay for anything that he's done. We've had mud that's flowed into our bottom porch. We've got a wet backyard for all last summer to the point where we had to have it treated for water with no irrigation system. So it's turned into a big legal mess, and once again, you know, one of the things that I was saying is that these rules are causing people in our community to end up with neighbors that are not happy with each other, to say the least, and causing stress. I can't tell you how many nights we've had that neither my wife or I are happy about it. He's now threatened us as well, verbally, saying that I'm going to make your life miserable. I'm going to not let you want to be outside in the summertime. We're going to have you calling the police all the time on us for loud music. So that's another thing that's going on. But so I have some suggestions if you guys, I would hope you guys would look at this and think that maybe we should maybe make some adjustments in doing that. If you want a bigger house on a bigger lot, get a bigger house on a bigger lot. But trying to put a 5-foot without permission or with from the rules, you know, how do you get stuff down to the lakeside to do things? It's hard. So if you guys are going to keep the things, I have some suggestions. Maybe before you start doing the work and you get approval for the house, you have to have approval for everything else that's going in. I mean, he put the pool in. The township didn't even know about the pool till I called and asked, hey, what's my what do I do? What's my rights with this guy driving through with a backhoe through my yard for a pool? And the township's answer was, pool? What pool? He doesn't even have a permit for a pool. But so that maybe what you guys should do if you're going to do this is that everything that they want to put in that's got to go down the slope past the house should be in the part of the permit for the house, and that maybe there should be a bond if you're going to allow 5-foot things for the person, that you have to, that the neighbors have to be the one that signs off of it if they go through their yard to release it back to the person or back to the people that have destructive property. That they should probably get a certified letter from the person that they're going to go through their yard saying that they give them their permission, rather than just drive through their person's property. And you know, I just think it's been kind of a big mess, this whole thing. You know, and so I would really like to see, so that, I know this has happened to other people in the area on Lake Fenton. I think it's sad, and I think that, you know, one of the questions I have for the board is, you know, I know you guys are serving the citizens and the township, but who's the key person in here? The township or the citizens? You know, do we want to live in a township that has people who are angry with each other and forced into things because the city's whole way of looking at this is it's not us. We're out of this. It's a civil dispute, which then puts it back on the people who live in the community to decide what they're going to do about it, which in my case now has led to legal. He also pulled up stakes. Within 2 hours of us having those properties staked, he went in there and pulled up the stakes. He's also put part of his, he's put in a cement patio, and he's put that over on their property. And he's got very upset about me asking him to remove it from there.
Well, I'm gonna just reach out. First of all, we're elected by you and we work for you, so.
I know.
I'll answer that question.
I know that- I know that.
Also, the one time I let Mike, or Mike's not here, he would answer a lot of these questions. So I think everything that you've talked about, we do have ordinances out there. However, like you said, he didn't pull a permit. It happens all the time.
I know.
Sometimes it's just out of ignorance. They just don't understand, or, you know, they think, you got a pool, you're talking to a pool contractor, you expect them, that's part of their job. They should come to you and say, you gotta pull a permit, you gotta do this. It happens all the time. But I think as far as the setbacks, I guess I would agree. I lived in an environment when I built my first house. I asked for that 5-foot setback, and I was approved for the 5-foot setback. And 10 years after living there, it did become an issue. There's not enough room. I couldn't even hardly put my jet ski, or put my jet ski down the side of the house because I was walking on someone else's property. But as
And
lake
there's a,
properties
you know,
become very valuable,
There's a difference between walking on property too and destroying property.
Destroying it.
You know,
But-
I wouldn't let a neighbor walk on my property or move something through my property if it wasn't destroying it, but.
but I can ask
destroying
Melissa,
is
I don't,
different.
I wasn't aware of what was going on to the detail that you're talking about. Most of the time when I receive a call like that, I turn it over to my engineer, the engineer goes over, Melissa would go over, you know, look at the property. If there's been a grade or an elevation change, then she would, you know, come back to me and say, yes, they've done this. And the township would work to remedy that, so again, I apologize, but,
Yeah,
and
the
John, you sit on the
township's
planning
always-
commission, you could probably address
The
more of
township's
this than I can.
The
but-
township's seen one of his planning commission thing, and it did not pass for for fixing it.
Say that again?
The township saw from Fenton Land and Survey his plan to take care of it, and it did not pass the township.
Melissa, is your mic open?
Yes.
Do you know anything about this situation?
Yeah, that is true. They've submitted revised grade plans. I don't think they have a approved grade plan yet. I'd have to check the latest status, but I think that's where it's at right now.
No, I'm gonna have to come up with a grade plan from what's going on at this point. So I've got, my people working on it.
Well, you shouldn't have to go to that expense. John, you wanna jump in? I mean,
Sure, and I apologize, but I don't recall, I've heard this gentleman speak before.
Right.
You might have been at the planning commission, you might have been here.
Yeah, I've been
before.
at all commissions.
I don't know where you've been. The planning commission is going to look at the setback issue.
Thank you.
We have not done it yet. Megan, will you make sure that Mike has it on our list of things to work on? It's probably already there. He's usually pretty good about talking about it. But I'm sorry that you have a bad neighbor.
Well, I mean, that's part of the draw, right?
Well,
But,
and I say that because I've been practicing real estate law for 42 years.
yeah,
Some of my best stories are riparian lakefront stories.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, riparians are the absolute worst, and I can
Yeah.
regale you with tales for hours.
Yeah.
But the only point that I have for you is, much of what you have described is A, in violation of our ordinances, B, in violation of civil law, and some of what you described is C, criminal.
Right.
Okay?
I know.
Criminal trespass, there is nothing in our ordinances that would allow your neighbor to come onto your property ever. Okay? You can't do that.
Well, we did call the police, and that's in the
Yeah,
record
and
too,
that's
and the
what
police also say, we don't know where the property lines
There's
are.
a whole bag of tricks here, and you're having to live them,
Yeah, I know.
I know exactly what you're saying, because I've
You,
litigated,
I know,
I've
you
been down the
litigated,
road.
and, I know, you know that better than I do. But I did do those
had a guy
things.
that was, he'd see his neighbor out with visitors over in the summer, he'd pull his riding lawnmower out, park it on the fence line, and leave it there for the rest of the afternoon. They had cameras pointing at each other. It's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want you to make sure you understand. We will look at, because I think your issue as far as our ordinance goes is a valid one. We're gonna look at that.
I appreciate
But a
that.
lot of the stuff you're talking about, not okay, even if we had 100-foot setbacks.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that this is
But
this
you-
has all occurred because of that.
Yeah, you sir, no, you sir have a bad neighbor. And I really am sorry for you for that, because there's nothing worse than that. We come to our homes to relax and rest and recreate, and you got warfare going on. And that's just not good. I'm sorry for that, but we will look at at the issue that you've raised with
Yeah,
respect
I
to
mean, the
side yard
setbacks, the setbacks isn't for me because it's already done, you know, I just don't wanna see
I understand.
other
But
people
if you run
having to
into
deal with
somebody
what I
that
do.
has no regard for rules, it doesn't matter what your rule is.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah. And unfortunately, you're living that.
yeah. Sorry I couldn't have been as good as the first one. But I did go to U of M, but it wasn't Michigan.
You're
You already
invited-
checked the first box.
You, sir, are invited to our planning commission meetings. There's an automatic exemption.
Should I come to that meeting for the planning board?
Yeah, I will have, Mike let you know when we're gonna be talking about it.
Yeah, I may be out of town if it's next month.
You know, I'm gone for the next 2 meetings next month, so it's probably gonna be.
Yeah, so it'll be afterwards,
Probably gonna be in April, somewhere like
So
that.
I'll probably be back.
But I'll have Megan make sure that Mike coordinates with you.
Well,
to make
I
sure.
appreciate and thank you for listening to me.
Absolutely, thank you for
Mark,
coming.
thank
Tell
you.
me again exactly where we're talking about.
You know where the corner is, the crazy corner? Down there, if you go by the big white house with the lights on, it looks like a concentration camp, we're just south of it, we're right south of there, you can see that everything's all.
Okay, I was out there last year, that's why I trying to,
Piece it together.
yeah,
Yeah, the one thing is they did change the color of the house because there was one area that wasn't the same color as the rest, and was throwing some people on the board. We're going, it's hideous, I can't wait, I wish they changed it, and they did, so that was good, but, thank you.
All right,
thank you.
Yes.
Kind of following what this gentleman said and what John said about riparians, we've had several times in this township where they don't ask for permits. They don't get them. I know the mindset, well, I've got money, you know, it's better to ask for, forgiveness than permission. What is, say this gentleman, what if he had a pool built without a permit? What are the ramifications of that? Is it just pay a fine?
No,
I
you
mean,
could,
I see a real easy way to stop this from ever happening.
Let me say one thing, then you guys can jump in, but we have meetings every other week, and it's with all the department heads in zoning. Mike, everybody is there, Julie's there, Amanda's there, we all sit and we talk about these issues. It was something I wanted to do, and we talk about them every 2 weeks. This has come up a lot, because it happens all the time. We've had 3 pools last season that were started that we had no clue. It was until the neighbor called and said there's a problem because, there's a big hole and we have found that in 2 of those cases, it was a common pool builder. So we've talked about being punitive, meaning that if you don't pull a permit, it's a $500 permit, it'll be a $1,000 permit.
But when
And there's
people
been
come, they don't
conversations,
care.
but it's never went any farther.
Well, I think everybody knows where I'm going with this. What? Well, yeah, I mean, how many times do we actually have them to tear it out or fill the pool in before it doesn't happen anymore?
Well-
I think once.
Well,
What would be the issue with us doing that?
I
I'm not
heard
kidding.
legally,
I'm-
and maybe I'm wrong, that once the pool's been started, that we can put a stop work order, but we can't tell them to fill up the soil and everything else, because we would be sued.
I mean.
No, I'm just telling you what I heard.
They've got
That's-
money, they don't care, you can give them a $10,000 fine, they don't give a They don't care, you know, and this has happened way high up in the township.
Well, I can tell you one I went to, Mark, just to show you how serious I think it is. There was a huge hole, probably 3 feet of water, enough to drown a baby.
Yeah. I'm talking
And the
about
fence,
completed.
the little teeny, you know, it looked like a police, the plastic
Yeah.
around it, was half collapsed all the way around it. And there's a hole that a dog could have fallen in, a kid could have fallen in. And when I walked over there, I was totally in disbelief.
But they don't care.
But we don't know, because
Don't
they
care.
basically didn't call to pull a permit.
So.
And they really didn't care.
Jack, if there's a completed pool, what's our,
So you have a bunch of options. I mean, one, even in district court, you can get a violation. The district court and/or circuit court could order it taken out.
so it'd have to go through the courts to have it taken out?
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay.
There's no way the
I mean,
township on our
what
own
is
would
the,
help.
that would be something we would pursue?
Yeah, we could, or the, you know, a property owner, I mean, like
What
in
is-
this other
Well,
circumstance.
yeah, and I feel,
But
is
like
that pole up?
Yeah, it's up in the
Okay,
sun now.
that's my point. The point is, if he didn't get a permit for it,
Right.
what is to stop us from, I mean, other than a couple more hours of lawyer fees, what's to stop us from going to the court and say, we want this taken out, he didn't do it? Because I think it would stop a whole lot of this from happening. Lake people are notorious for that.
But
But what?
in this case, at least a resident told Julie that the builder told the resident that was their job, they were gonna pull the permit. So to me, I think the punitive reaction should be towards the builder. The builder should be, I mean, you can't build a house in this township, it's not your fault, Mark, if your builder doesn't
Right.
come and get the building permits to build a house.
I understand that, but if you've got a pool, and we know what type of neighbor this is apparently, I mean, what's the issue? Where is it bad if we say we want this taken out?
Then we should go after the pool that dug the
I don't
hole
care
without
who
the
we think
permit,
it is. Well,
instead of the resident. I think we should go after the pool company.
Well, I mean,
You could charge both of them with
yeah,
ordinance
due
violations.
diligence is probably, if I'm paying a pool guy, I would probably want my due diligence to say, you should pull the permit, so I'm not gonna put it all on the pool guy. Ignorance is not an excuse for the law, right, John?
Last time I checked.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks,
So
John.
I just mean, I just see this as an easy fix, and, you know, if the court says it or not, but at least people would know that we're serious about pull the permit or get it ripped out.
And up to Mark's point, when I called, they sent, someone out, they stopped it, but by the next day, they had got the permit and were working on it.
Well, let them finish it all the way, and then then, you know, put more of your money into it, and then see. I just don't see a downside for us saying, whether we go after the pool builder or, what's the issue? I think it sends a good message to the people out here,
Well,
because that hurts more than their pocketbook, which again, there's a lot of,
I don't disagree with you.
okay?
I'll make sure you know that. The policy around here has been to obtain compliance. That's the overall
Yeah.
thing. So I don't know if you caught it when he said it. They called, they reported it. The next day, he had the permit. Okay, and that's
We
where.
put a stop order on it.
That's the point where you would say, we need a different
And
tack.
that's fine, if it's legal now, that's fine, but I mean, in the future, you know,
Right.
you're pulling a permit after it's already done. What's okay, you owe another $200 for it. I just think it'd get some attention more
I
than.
don't disagree with what you're saying.
I'm not
I'm just
talking
telling you that what we'd have to do is we would have to look at our policy, because his scenario is pretty easy, because I can very easily see what's going on here.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
you switch the scenario around a little bit, somebody didn't know that you were required, and to your point, ignorance of the law is not an excuse, but it was, you know, clearly a scenario where somebody didn't know, or you got an owner that says, no, we're not gonna do that. If you want this job, you know, in that scenario, you're after the owner. If it's the pool guy, the owner says, make sure you get the permit, and the guy doesn't, then you're going after the pool guy. So to Jack's scenario, they're both code violations, you name everybody, but in order to do what you're talking about, we've got to change our philosophy. And I'm not opposed to that, because I think you're right. I think the minute that somebody has to take a structure down, they have to take a wing off of a garage, they gotta fill in a swimming pool, you know, and word gets out, that's the way it rolls. I do think you stop a lot of that, but it is really fact sensitive. I can paint you sympathetic facts where you wouldn't necessarily wanna do that. But I'm just telling you, overall, typically what gets looked at is how do we get compliance? And in this scenario of this gentleman, where they're out here and they're doing not only this, they're doing all these other things, you know, we would have to have some kind of a ordinance change that says a permit that's issued before construction starts costs X. And one that is pulled afterwards costs Y. One that's pulled afterwards that there are code violations with costs Z. You know, you can see the scenario, and I'm not opposed to any of this, because I agree with you.
But everything you're saying is money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, but.
It's not working for people out here.
Yeah, right. Well, and again, you're correct. My examples are bad, because under your scenario, what we do is none of that. You don't get a permit, sir. And by the way, we're going to district court, we're going to circuit court, and you're.
Where's the harm in that?
Yeah.
So let me just say something, all right? Because we're gonna check another box together, which is rare. I said this same thing in that meeting. I said, this is BS. Let's tell him he's gotta, tell the company to put the right back, including your side. And then, and everybody said, Vince, you've always said complaint-based township, where, you know, we love our constituents, we wanna take care of our, so we have to John's point, if this board is willing to smack a hammer down, I think the board, the employees and staff that I meet with every other week is totally in favor of it.
Well, we should look at it then.
And that's a planning
'Cause I mean, it
commission
looks to
issue, so
me-
if this, we're
don't
not
think
talking
we're-
votes, or taking votes or anything, but I'm just saying, if this is something that, then take it up in the planning commission and, you know, do what you gotta do.
How many times has this happened in this township?
Well, I can tell you, and I meant to say, it's not just riparians. I
No,
can
but
name
I
you
mean,
right now.
overall.
I know of two. There's an entire barn that was built with no permit. I know of an outbuilding the size of Miller Industries that was pulled knowingly, it was built knowingly without permits. We didn't know about for years. And it's because we don't have, this is not 1980, we don't have cameras and eyes everywhere. We feel like we're getting to that point, but that's
We are.
not the way we roll. So if this gentleman hadn't come and said, hey,
I'm not saying we need to be proactive and look for these things,
Yeah.
but when we do have a clear complaint,
right,
what's the issue?
yeah, no, I,
That's my point.
I'm just
So
reading
Jack
the
makes
table.
sense.
I don't think there's a lot of people that are disagreeing with you here. I don't know about the two absentee here, and Jack will do whatever we tell him to do. More litigation for the township means win their chicken dinner.
It's fine. I mean, but like I said, it's not gonna take a whole lot of these $50,000, $100,000, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
They-
Right.
They're not stupid people.
Intentional ignorance. yeah.
One hits the front page of the paper, and that's all she wrote.
I'm just saying.
Well, it might even be the change of philosophy that's the paper. That might be enough to prevent it.
There's a lot of.
And I think I've told this board, a lot of complaints I get are exactly this. Think about taking the time of a supervisor, and it's certainly not weekly, but I would say at least one or two probably 4 or 5 a month. So it might be 3 in one. This is exactly what I hear. Where I call Melissa or say, will you go over and check this out? And I can imagine how many, like I said, you've got nightmare stories, I've got nightmare stories where they put up a fence while they were on vacation, knowing that we were gonna take it down. They didn't care. They hated the neighbors so bad they were gonna put a fence up. So it happens all the time, so.
I'm just laughing because there's a picture I'll try and remember to bring whenever I get back in the country, but it was a neighborhood dispute. And the party that was the good white hat got a ruling or whatever to take everything down and redo things. The neighbor who was, he configured his windows in configurations, so they sent a little message to the neighbor afterwards. So that's the pettiness and the nonsense of the stuff that goes on here. And that was before AI. This was a real real response to a real situation.
Oh, there's a statue of just a middle finger to the guy erected in his front yard, it was legal, pointing at the neighbor's house.
It's a sign, yeah.
Oh, it was a big, it was like the frog at Applewood, it was that big.
Wow.
A middle finger sculpture in the yard.
And I think that we're only seeing the tip of it now.
Well, I'm just saying,
Because, you know why? Because nobody talks to their neighbors anymore.
right,
You know, if I got a problem with my neighbor, I'll go over and tell you, you know, I go over and shake his hand and have a conversation. I've done that with my neighbors through my whole life. They just don't do that anymore. They just don't. They just want to start a lawsuit or, like you said,
Well,
tear up their bushes or.
They get away. Story that pops into my mind, somehow I think I missed a meeting, because I got elected to be the fence viewer.
I remember
Missed the
that.
meeting, didn't you,
I think it
Bob?
was John.
Yeah, never
was John
missed
that
another one.
became-
But, boy, guess what you'll be elected to while you're gone. But I went over there looking for a fence. I couldn't find a fence, my mind. So I finally come back and I went back, and the second time they said, Bob, it's not a fence. It's a brick wall. This guy had went 10 bricks high from the start of his yard all the way to the lake.
You're talking about concrete block bricks.
Yeah,
Okay.
it,
Hurricane proof.
well, it's a hell of a fence, but it was just because they couldn't agree on who gets to look at what. And we finally, I think we took that gentleman,
It's no longer there.
gave him a choice, let's just say. And he chose to take it down.
Smarter
That's
than
when I
most.
was, that's when I was talking about, when I talked about the fence, I didn't wanna say that because there's not too many people that have done that before, but that was
Oh.
the fence I was talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Alrighty.
like the threatening.
All I gotta say is your 15 minutes I didn't hit again, so you know
Well,
what?
actually, you were spot on.
I was spot
You
on,
were
14
literally
minutes.
spot on.
And then we had John
I
pipe up.
don't know. Like you didn't know I was here, right?
All right, I'm just kidding. Is there any other comments? All right. Anybody else that's here, that's present, that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? All right, I will move to Zoom. There is nobody on Zoom. Melissa, would you like to say anything tonight?
She went to sleep.
Oh, I'm good, thanks.
All right. All right, I have now addressed those in attendance and those on Zoom. If there's nothing else tonight, I say good night and the meeting's adjourned.
48.
You were doing
Yeah,